They left London with an L once again. A 5-game losing streak your Jacksonville Jaguars are on. How does it make you feel? Unbelievable. Welcome to the Halloween version of XL Primetime. We will have tricks for you today. And I feel like you've been tricked by this Jacksonville Jaguar football team, a team that started out 2-1. People were making playoff plans after the third Sunday in September. And here we are on a 5-game losing streak with a team that has had 7 fourth-quarter leads, and yet they can't get it done. And a theme is starting to show. Trevor late, not Trevor good. That is bad. So let's get into it today. We got all sorts of things to do. But let's just react to this because we're going to offer up the pop-off line. You can have your Modelo moment. You can dial 207-70-71. But as Leon Searcy is not with us today, we will not be able to hear the reaction from our all-pro tackle. We will react to this. And I'm looking at Matt. I'm looking at Mia. I'm looking at JJ, who, by the way, is dressed up today as a ref. And if we do anything stupid, he's going to throw a penalty flag on us. So
any
JJ,
bad takes, I'm ready.
Yeah, JJ's got the stash and the zebra stripes.
He already threw it once today, by the way, because he walked into his office and was dismayed to find the little Sebastian Miami Hurricanes.
The Ibis.
Mascot little doll had been broken.
I love how you call it a little doll.
Not really great with Florida State on the horizon for those Canes fans, but it already wasn't great. But JJ already threw the flag once. He's not afraid to throw it today.
Everyone in this office is a suspect, by the way. Yeah. I don't know who did that, how it happened, but I'm watching. Maybe ghosts.
Spooky.
I would go to the body cam footage of one Ryan the Hacker Green, and I would find out whether or not he's the one who did this.
Especially after we got that recruit the other night. Yeah. That's good.
And it took you 4 overtimes to get to the dub, but the Canes did get to the dub.
Yes, thank you.
They barely scored enough. All right, so we're going to do college football, but this Jacksonville Jaguar team right now, Matt Hayes, it's an abyss. It is sinking to the bottom of the ocean right now.
So I want to start by saying hope is everything in life. Hope, okay? I don't care if you're talking about the Jags. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you're talking about your job, personal life, the way you go to the beach and you hope it's a great sunrise or a sunset. Hope is everything. Everything.
Yes.
If you don't have hope, it's devastation. That's why what's happened in the last 5 weeks, the 5-game losing streak, the 5 opportunities to win, the 5 blown opportunities to win. That's why I think there's danger right now in this city, because once you take hope away from these guys, which you gave them, by the way, by beating the Colts 24-0, by going out to L.A. and beating the L.A. Chargers / San Diego Chargers.
Yeah.
A team that's full of talent. Had the most players in the NFL Network's top 100 players in the NFL. The most players were from the Chargers, okay? You go there and you whip that team. You're 2-1. You're coming back. Everybody's excited. You got the freaking Texans. Are you kidding me? The worst team in the NFL. L, and L.
Yeah.
5 in a row. That's what this team has done right now. They've literally sucked the hope from this city. And now, what do? What do you got if you don't have hope? You got nothing.
All right. I want you guys to fire off on that note. 904-207-7071. Make it your Modelo moment. Modelo, drop a lime in it, and then you can make the phone call and just, flip and trip. Say whatever you want because it is as frustrating as it gets. And so we asked the question, who do you feel more tricked by right now when it comes to this Jacksonville Jaguar football team? Who do you feel more tricked by?
Who are my options?
Anybody.
I don't know. Is it a this or that, or is it anybody? Is it anybody right now?
All right, because like right now, I'll just give it to you. I feel like I'm a little tricked by Trevor Lawrence. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've been tricked. This is a trick-or-treat situation when Trevor Lawrence was drafted number 1 overall. He was coming into the city. He was the generational one. He was going to save this franchise. And we were looking at a guy who had won natties. He was 34-2 as a starter from college football at Clemson. He comes here, and it's really been disappointment from day one. So then you get rid of Herb, you bring Dougie Fresh in, Super Bowl winning coach, and you're thinking, all right, they're turning the corner. Now this guy is throwing it to the other guy far too often. Early in the game when you could have gone up 2 scores, and late in the game when you needed to come back. He has tricked me. Tricked Joseph.
And I'm not going to make excuses for Trevor Lawrence anymore because it's unacceptable. And I understand that post-game he explained that his thought process behind why he would throw the ball there, that made sense, and the execution wasn't there, which is the same exact thing that he told us not too long ago when he threw a goal line interception against the Houston Texans. So talk about trick or treat, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. Yeah. But my thing with Trevor, as you allude to his stats at Clemson, the fact that he only lost 2 games in high school as well, so he literally lost 4 games in 7 years. He has now lost 20 games in 2 years, less than 2 years. To which I say this, and I am not trying to compare these two cats because they are very different, but Leonard Fournette came to Jacksonville, obviously had a successful rookie season on the field. His team went to the AFC Championship game, but this was a Leonard Fournette that outside of perhaps his last year at LSU where things kind of went awry when he wasn't even playing down the stretch, he was the best player in middle school. He was the best player on his high school team. He was the best player on his college team. Then he got to the NFL and he met some adversity. And as we all know in this town, that second year when everything went downhill in 2018, that's when Lenny folded. He didn't play because of the hamstring injury. And then when he did play, he got into a fight on the field with the Bills. And then he got all of his incentives stripped from his rookie contract and more fights with, on the sidelines when he and TJ Yeldon were sitting on the sideline during that season finale in Houston. Drama. Trevor is not that, clearly, because he's not pouting like that. But at the same time, what I question is, and it's a fair question, what adversity has he ever faced quite like this? This is really the first time he's ever going up against something like this. And so that is where, so 2 things, and this is the leadership professor in me, because I do teach leadership at the University of North Florida, fun facts. I give Trevor credit because what I was told, what happened after yesterday's game, both players and coaches, a lot of people were a little unhappy, obviously visibly frustrated because a 5th straight loss by 1 possession. Trevor individually went up to people and had individual conversations to calm people down, to speak with coaches. Verbatim said to one coach, I have to play better for you. And apparently went up and said that to several people. To which I say that is his leadership style. He is never going to be a rah-rah guy. That's not who he is. But the fact that he at least has acknowledged, hey, I'm going to individually meet with each of you and have these conversations. I give him credit for that. But at the end of the day, is he actually comprehending? I believe he is, because he looked visibly upset at the end of this game. He looked visibly upset at the end of the Giants game. Is he understanding and does he have a plan to overcome the adversity? That's because, again, like we said, we were talking about in the pre-show meeting, end of game drives. It's not, I understand that dudes win games and wins are what we care. That's the stat we care about. How about the end of the game? What are you doing at the end of the game? He did not give up a 98-yard touchdown drive to the Denver Broncos and Nate Hackett. He did not give that up. But at the same time, what are you doing in the final 2 minutes of a game?
There are so many things you can point to that you would say this led to the loss. And letting Russell Wilson actually revive his Bronco career. They had a 2-win record before they got to London. This is the highest passing and highest accuracy that he's had the entire season. So, the defense played their role in this bad boy. But I'm not insulating Trevor Lawrence anymore, and I'm not insulating Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson said Trent Baalke said we're going to deal James Robinson, and people are going, well, you're probably going to miss him. No, Travis Etienne ran for $150, 24 carries, 150-plus yards. He did his part. Christian Kirk didn't see the football land in his hands until the 2-minute warning of the first half. I think that's unacceptable. I don't know how you can do it. They worked Evan Ingram in. Trevor throws this dime to Evan Ingram in the corner. They're up early. Then they're right back down the field with a big run from Etienne. They're about to get in the end zone, and you're thinking, all right. Scramble me some eggs. Mix me up another Bloody Mary. Let's go. This is London. We're supposed to win. And he tries to fire it into a what is a bunch of Broncos? What is that called?
A herd.
A herd. I know it's a herd of cattle. I don't know what the herd of Broncos is, but he threw it into about 74 Broncos, and one of them comes up. Simmons goes up and grabs it. You can't do that, Matt. You cannot do that.
No, JoJo, you can't, okay? There's no doubt about it.
Coach Campbell says it all the time. Everything gets so much smaller right there, and he just
I know it
into
does.
A sea of Broncos.
And I agree with you, okay? I totally agree with you. You cannot make that throw, all right? How in the world are we going to leave Doug Peterson off the hook for this? It's first and goal from the 2. First and goal from the 2. Run the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, that's number 1. Run the ball. Number 2, this is why you keep James Robinson on your roster for 10 games instead of getting a sixth flipping round pick. Could be a 5th.
Conditional.
Hey, could be a 5th. Mm-hmm. The value is in the 10 games. The value is when it's first and goal from the 2, you got a guy that can push the pile. Trevor Etienne, for all his magnificent work, he can't push the pile. When everybody's bunched up and it's 8 or 9 on 9, and you got to get a short yard and it's goal line, he's not pushing the pile.
I don't even miss Jay.
So hang on. The point I'm saying is, what are you doing at the 2-yard line rolling out to the right?
Makes zero sense.
When 2 games ago he did the same thing and threw a pick.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Run the ball.
I did ask that. I followed up with a couple people on the coaching staff, and the plan was they thought it's 1 yard. Easy throw, and if he can't find his target, throw it away. Then
there are no easy throws in the NFL. I don't care if it's Trevor or anyone. There are no easy throws in the NFL.
Then you get 2 more tries to pound it in. I agree. You should have pounded it in from the get-go, especially knowing you have a young quarterback that struggles
at the 2.
In the red zone.
Who in their right mind on any staff in the NFL thinks there's an easy throw at the 2-yard line
and
in the NFL?
The benefit of 2 penalties by the Broncos.
Dumbest thing I've ever heard, seriously.
The benefit of 2 penalties by the Broncos to get that close to the end zone and then not hand it off.
Right.
Look, I just look at the appeal that Doug has in the passing game. I totally get it. I love it. But you can only do that so often and go to the well so often. And especially when you shift everything and everyone's rolling to the right, all of a sudden it's a compressed area of the field that is so easy to
How is that an easy throw?
All right, now here's the other part of this. Is Trevor Lawrence closing his eyes when he throws the football? And I'm being a little bit of a smartass here, okay? But I cannot see the touch. I cannot see the anticipation that he's trying to give the receiver. Let's go to the last pick of this football game. This is now back-to-back weeks where as soon as they get the ball back, they had the lead, they lost it, the other team drives down the field, gets in the end zone and scores.
A 90-plus yard drive the other team. That's 2 weeks in a row, by the way.
You get the ball back, and you have time, okay? You got timeouts, you got time. It's a minute 43, whatever the number is. They start at the 25, and he throws it to where the defender can get it. And let's point this out. The defender playing with one hand. The other one was in a cast. And he still
the entire hand was in the cast. It's not just it's not like it was just to the wrist, the cast. It was the entire hand.
So that's where we are.
But listen, I will say this, okay? And I have to say this because I really think he's got to be taken to task for this. Pass interference, you get a first down. He throws it again. Pass interference, you get a first down. What play caller then goes back to the well a third time and rolls out and tries to throw it again from the 2? Run the ball.
Yeah.
Run the ball.
There is no question about it. All right, so all you got to do is dial up the pop-off line, 904-207-7071. Hit the pop-off line, or you can hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures and fire off at 641-1010.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So about half hour ago, Zach Abaveldi of Gators Online broke the news that Brenton Cox, pass rusher for the Florida Gators, was dismissed from the team. Billy Napier is currently meeting with reporters in Gainesville. Here are some of the quotes to come out of that press conference with regards to the dismissal of Brenton Cox. Billy Napier saying, quote, "We kind of decided to move on here. I believe it was a healthy thing for our team." Coincidentally, I was just sent a now deleted tweet from Trey Dean, corner for the Florida Gators, in which he said that Zach's report was not true. Obviously, since that tweet was sent, Billy Napier confirmed it was true, and the tweet has since been deleted.
And look, let's just spend the last few minutes of this first segment. We're going to say hello to Pat Dooley a little bit later on. Dooley will be coming up in about, 5-10 minutes time, and we'll get an idea of what he thinks as far as Brenton Cox being booted. But the Florida Gators, hey, cocktail party, always good. Dogs came in as a 22-plus point favorite going into this game. They're expected to just roll. They do for a good part of this game, up 28-3 as they get into the third quarter. And you give the Florida Gators some credit. They fire back. They score the next 17 points from a 25-point deficit down to 8 points. Anthony Richardson showed a little fire, a little flair. Defensively, they were able to force the turnovers and get the ball back. And just for a little bit, if not for a long time, the Florida Gator fan enjoyed the third quarter. That's the bunch that stuck around, that was there. But then in the end, Georgia comes right back, asserts their will, takes control of this football game. The Bulldogs, I'm putting them on notice right now against the Tennessee Volunteers. Putting them on notice right damn now.
Balls are winning that game. That's number one. Number two, if I'm a Florida fan, I mean, you don't like losing to Georgia. But the talent gap is ridiculous.
Massive.
The discrepancy in talent is ridiculous. I will say this. You're going to find out now what this Florida team's about, what this coaching staff is about with these next 4 games. You've got a game at Texas A&M, which is a dangerous game because Connor Weigman, his first start at Texas A&M last weekend against Ole Miss.
Yeah, not bad.
4 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah, not bad at all.
First start. So anyone starts screaming about, Anthony Richardson's only in his 9th start. First start. 4 tuds, no picks. They lost the game. He still played really well, okay? So you got at Texas A&M. You come back for a South Carolina team that's playing pretty well, all right? Playing pretty well. They're feeling good about themselves at least, even though they lost a horrible game last weekend in Mizzou. Then you got to go and travel to a tricky little game in Nashville where it's going to be cold, could be a night game. Then what do? This team playing in cold weather against a team that needs the game. Vandy needs the game to try and get bowl eligible. And then you come back home, you got to play FSU, which could be 8-3
on the road in Tally, by the way.
On the road in Tally, they could be 8-3 at that point.
They're feeling pretty good again.
If you want to know really what it's all about at Florida right now, these next 4 games are going to show not only what this team is about, but what the coaching staff, more importantly, is about, how they get them ready to play these games.
And now they'll have to do it without one of, if not their best pass rusher in Brenton Cox, a guy that many folks had as a day 1, day 2 NFL draft pick before the season. The reports are that there was some sort of, let's say, misunderstanding, disagreement, altercation, whatever it was, following that game, which, of course, Brenton Cox formerly played at the University of Georgia. So, obviously, that's a situation that we will monitor. I do find this one funny. I think it's said in jest on the Twitter machine, but I got to read this one, courtesy of Notorious BSW. Whatever Brenton Cox did in the locker room can't possibly top Muschamp putting Charlie Weiss in a headlock back in the day.
Look, you could have these tempers flaring. You can get fired up. Brenton Cox has had a lot of headlines coming into games. He hasn't had a lot of headlines coming out of games. And that's just the way it is. He comes back for this last year, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, are you going to be able to turn the corner? I remember you and I barking about him after game 1. He had a ton of tackles, but he didn't make plays, if that makes any sense at all. Ton of tackles and didn't make enough plays.
Well, he came back because he got a bad grade from the NFL draft.
Exactly.
That's why
and
he came back.
There's a reason why he gets a bad grade, because he doesn't impact anything for any length of time at the line of scrimmage. He just doesn't. And that's just the way it is. He is an average player, especially when you're talking about moving up to the next level. Gervin Dexter, below average player. Okay, these guys had headlines.
Gervin Dexter is not what people think he is.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I told Matt.
Headlines coming in, not exiting football game.
I told Matt as we were coming into the office today, the Draft Network released a halftime of Sunday Night Football mock draft last night, and they had Gervin Dexter as, I believe, the number 10 overall pick in this April's NFL draft.
Number 10.
Yeah.
No chance.
I was like, are you paying attention? What's going on?
Yeah, they keep looking at size and potential, and you hear that all the time as far as a guy like that is concerned. It just drives you a little crazy.
Although these are the same guys who still insist that Anthony Richardson's going to be picked in the first 15 picks.
Let's spend a second on AR, because I think most of us would probably come away from this saying, all right, the guy can make his share of plays. When he sees an opening, he can fire it, and when he does take off, he realizes how effective he can be. As a willing runner, he is dynamic as all get out. He just doesn't do it enough. Stetson Bennett's a more willing runner than he is right now, which is something to say. But at the end of 60 minutes of football, did you not come away, or here we are now into November, he struggles reading defenses. I really think that is the nutshell of it all.
He doesn't see the field.
He struggles reading defense.
He doesn't see the field, but the thing is he does every once in a while. The throw to Henderson, like he looked, where he was looking, forced the corner to break, which left Henderson in between the safety and the corner, in between the shell they were playing. And he just threw a dart And safety couldn't get there quick enough and gone.
Because I thought he was going to take the check down.
Right.
But he took the underneath
But that's
route.
what he did. He moved the corner with that by his eyes. He's got to learn to use his eyes more. He doesn't use his eyes at all. So that can be taught.
Yeah.
And that's why there are NFL teams that think, because my dad said the same exact thing as Matt last night to me. He said, this kid can't see the field. But I said, there are NFL teams, from what at least we've been told, that believe they can teach this kid how to see the field. Okay, although there are plenty of folks who believe that seeing the field is just as a God-given talent as is having the natural frame that he does, where he can barrel into people.
I'm just saying, let's not forget the guy that was supposed to coach it is Billy Napier. Okay? If you're going to be able to read defenses, Billy Napier comes to save Anthony Richardson, pull him out of the ashes, and teach him how to read the field. And we have had this conversation. That has supposedly been a major focus this offseason and into the season. See this, do that, and he's not been able to do enough of it. So let's get into it. Medella moment. All you got to do is pop off 207-7071. It's your stage. It's your moment. So hit the phone lines, 904-207-7071 on a Modelo Monday.